In this class, exams are 75% of your grade. They're broken down into lecture exams, where there are going to be 4, lab exams, where there are going to be 4, and lecture quizzes. Lecture exams will have 80-ish multiple choice questions. Usually it's around 81 or 82, but it's 80-ish. And then there are 5 possible essays. Now, it's not fair to say I'm going to touch you on every single thing in the chapter or even in the PowerPoint. There's just way too much. So I have study guides in the review modules. So to access them, I go to the home page. I go to Lecture Exam 1's PowerPoint study guides and group problems. And they're right here as a Word document. As I said in another video, students actually like filling these out as I lecture. My idea for giving these to you is that you focus on each individual page of my PowerPoints. Now, these are not the test questions. The test questions are similar, but not the same, and they're concepts from these PowerPoints. So your best idea to study is actually go through the PowerPoints, try to explain it to somebody. If I wrote something out on the board, write it out yourself or explain it to somebody. So this is just to focus. And unlike anatomy and physiology, it's more concepts. So it really helps if you understand each page of the PowerPoint. Now, there's going to be 5 essay questions. And what we do is we go over them in the lab before your lecture exam. So here's group 1, exam 1 group problems. So we'll do these problems the class before you have your exam 1. Now I'll post these. As you can see, I have a long history of posting them, and I actually have these all hidden from you because students say it is too confusing with 20 million group problems, and when I actually ported the class over, I'm like, they sort of have a point. Now, normally I will scan what students go over in class, and I will post it the same day. Now, an important thing, the top score is whoever gets 100%. Multiple choice tests are flawed. They're meant to be tricky, so there might be a question that's just a horrible question. People do not understand what I'm asking, so everybody gets it wrong. There's also students who know the answer and they bubble in the wrong answer. If I had $1 for every student who did that, I would be a multimillionaire for sure. So let's say the top person has a 95. I make that 100%. To be fair, to get rid of bad questions, and it's called a sliding scale, not a curve. In a curve, I have to give 75% of UCs. Now there's 4 lecture quizzes. I'm not sure why I put it away from here. They're based on 4 lectures: the cell, autonomic nervous system, blood, and bone and skin. There will be no multiple choice questions from these chapters. There will be essay questions. I know there's an essay question from the autonomic nervous system. Blood, every other semester I give a blood essay question. Sometimes I ask for the phospholipids and proteins in the cell membrane. Now, you have a week to complete these after the lecture. So, here's the quiz right here, quiz 3, the cell, the endocrine system, blood, and skin and bone. So again, you access it from here. And these chapters have separate study guides. So I'm going to again click here. So chapter 3, review. So these are the possible questions for the cell chapter. If I scroll down to the next test, here are the possible questions for the endocrine system. You have a week to complete. They are online, so you're doing them at home. I'm assuming you are using notes. For the endocrine system, I will give you a table, and it'll have all the hormones, where they're made and where their function is. I expect that you have filled that out, so that test will not be that hard. So what I'm going to do is, to prevent cheating, there's a test bank. There's about 50 or 60 questions in the test bank. You get 20 of them at random. So for lab exams, you're going to have a paper lab exam, so completely different from anatomy, where there's probably 30 stations, each with 2 questions. Lab exams will be 30 points, and normally 20 questions, which means some of the questions are worth more than 1 point. And it's based on lab procedures, analyzing data, or terms from labs. And the study guides are found with the procedures. I'll only ask what is on the study guide. So again, I go over here, labs 1 through, and if I scroll down, lab review, and I give you the answers. We used to do lab periods where we would go over the study guides, but I found only half the class showed up to those, and then got upset when I didn't post the answers. Here's the study guide for the first one. We're going to be doing something called chromatography, which you might have done in chemistry, and we're going to be finding the RF value. So I'll give you a picture, something like this, and you find the RF value. Or I'll have definitions, ion, hydrogen, or definitions for bonds, ionic, hydrogen, polar covalent, nonpolar covalent. I'll have you explain procedures. This is an electrophoresis gel. How does it work? I'll ask you to analyze data. For this one, which one's the smallest? This one or this one? Why? So how do you set it up? Which side's the cathode, which side's the anode? And I also like throwing in loops. What happens if you change something in the procedure to see if you actually really understand it? And on some of them, I might put in questions. So lab 5, people have trouble with the permeability versus impermeability. So I put little comments in sometimes. So that is how exams are in this class, and they're 75% of your grade. Thank you.